Dan Ramey, Litter Media, and we're visiting with Brad Catron. Brad is the founder of Foothold International, a local mission group that does a lot of work overseas in Kenya. We have with us right here, and perhaps you've heard us talk about these in the past, this is the biosand filtration unit that you have been able to place in other villages and given them an opportunity for clean water.
Correct. Yeah, the biosand filter is a very simple filter, and it works very, very well for the area in which we work. You can see that when I say simple, meaning that there's very few parts. There are no moving parts to it. All you have is a container. You have sand, which has to be sieved and cleaned before it's put in there. You also have gravel, and then you also have some piping in there for the water.
And this is something that has been placed in some homes over in Kenya. Right. How much does one of these costs?
These cost about $30. And so we make these with all local labor there in Kenya, and also materials that are purchased locally as to support the local economy.
That's not very expensive for something that's going to last how many years?
They can last from 6 to 10 years.
These ladies that collect the water, and the men don't collect water, the women do it, they have to go deep into areas where there's crocodiles, hippos, and even elephants in the way.
Yes, there are, and so it's not just walking to a stream or somewhere to fetch water. There are real dangers out there for these people, and as you said, it's typically the women and the children who fetch the water for the family for the day.
So we've got some visual we want to show people to give them an idea of where these women have to go to get water, and you can see the canisters that they collect the water in. So this is a daily routine for them, right?
Yes, it is. They collect those jerry cans, which are around the house, and a lot of them are cooking oil containers, and so they clean those out, and that's what they use for fetching water. So they'll leave the house with those on a 1-mile trek to the spring.
Now, this is the spring they're going to, and this is going to be shocking for some people to see this, I think. Look at that clear water. This is what you have to clean up.
Yes, it is. It's that water just comes out of the ground from an underground source, of course. It's rainy season there now, so it's particularly muddy. But even when it's dry season, it still runs pretty murky.
And this is what they use to clean their clothes with, to cook with, and to drink, right?
Correct. That's their only source for about 10 miles.
Here the ladies are actually collecting the water.
They collect the water from the stream, and then you'll see how they carry it on their way back home.
Can you imagine bringing this home? I mean, for us stateside, it's difficult to imagine.
It is, and it's some people don't have any way of filtering this water. So for their drinking and hygiene needs, they'll simply have to take this water home, and what they'll do is they'll boil it to kill any bacteria to make it okay to drink. But otherwise, what you see is what you get, pretty much.
Pretty much every female in the family is involved in this process, right?
Yeah, they are, and they start out younger than the young lady that you see there collecting water, and she was about 6 years old. So they start even younger than that carrying the water, and then eventually, as they carry water over the years, they'll be carrying about 40 pounds on top of their heads or on their backs.
On their heads or on their backs. Yeah, absolutely incredible. And this is what the water looks like once it goes through your filtration process.
We had a biosand project there in Kenya now for the last 6 years, and we found that one of the most efficient ways to purify water, especially in this area where the water is muddy and has a lot of clay in it, is through biosand. And biosand is a really simple type of filter, but you install those in the home, and they last for 6 to 10 years. And so they can process about 15 gallons of water a day, and they can take that muddy water, what you just saw, and once it's added to the filter, 8 hours later it comes out like this. And most of the time it's right at 99% pure.
99% pure.
Exactly.
Takes about 8 hours for it to purify.
Right.
Now, if they can't make it to the stream, they've got other options, right?
Right, there's lakes around the area, and in this particular area, this is kind of a canal that is hooked to a lake called Lake Jipe, and of course the water that goes into Lake Jipe is from Mount Kilimanjaro, which is about 30 miles away. But by the time it comes up out of the ground and mixes with all the mud and everything and silt, that's about what you get.
And they have a pumping device that allows you to actually pump water too.
Right.
And you'll see, folks, it's still coming out pretty murky.
Yeah, it's good to see those pumps there, because the alternative to those pumps is actually taking your bucket, like you saw the ladies in the stream, going down to the edge of the water. And so, but at that lake, should you go to the edge of the water and not use the pump to fill your container, you risk encountering crocodiles and hippos.
And no one wants to run into those.
No, they don't. I mean, you just walked 3 miles to that lake to get that kind of water, and then so you definitely don't want to encounter a wild animal on your trip.
All this has really created a bit of a cycle. In fact, you've got a really neat acronym for it called WASH cycle.
WASH is a global acronym for Water, Sanitation, and Hygiene. And these are things that affect communities and people's health worldwide. One of the things is that as you look at water, sanitation, and hygiene, they all depend on each other. For instance, if you don't have clean water, then you can't have proper hygiene. If you don't have proper hygiene, then you can't have clean water. And then if you don't have water, you can't have sanitation. So it depends upon all these things depend on each other. So that's where we call it the WASH cycle.
So part of this WASH cycle has given them the empowerment to be able to make soap themselves.
Mm-hmm. What you see here is what we call community soap. And this soap is once it's made and cut, it is sold to other ladies in the community at a competitive price to commercially made soap. This one, of course, is made with coconut and or palm oil. Mm-hmm. It also has some fragrance in it, which the ladies really like, but then also it has some color added to it. And when they find that they can have this really nice soap for a low price, and then also have all the benefits such as to the skin and things like that, they really would like the soap. So yeah, that's the community soap. And then also over here to the right, you'll see a small bar of kind of red pinkish soap. That soap is produced for primary school students. They make this monthly, and currently we're producing about 865 bars per month for 4 primary schools, so that these kids can have soap to wash their hands after using the toilet and or before they eat. This may be the only time that these kids will wash their hands in a 1 or 2 day period. So it's very important that proper hygiene is practiced.
And due to that, all types of diseases, that their percentages have drastically dropped.
Yes, they have, and it's stomach issues from diarrhea and other waterborne diseases like typhoid and some of those have virtually disappeared over the last 7 months at these primary schools among these children. The schools are reporting to us of upwards of a 45% increase in enrollment of students, and they attribute it just to better hygiene because there's absence of ringworm on the skin now. They don't have the other skin ailments. And then again, they're not sick anymore, and so they're able to come to school and learn, and they want to learn. So, and the community's finding out about this, and so this little 20-cent bar of soap over here in the corner is making a huge difference. One of our schools reported a 24% increase in attendance, daily attendance, after using soap and drinking clean water from one of our biosand filters.
Oh, it's making a difference.
It is. It is.
Now, what you've seen here, you can find more details at Foothold International's website, footholdinternational.org. And so go there. Not only that, you'll be able to find out more if you're watching this before April 28th. You've got the Water Can Walk, which is very symbolic of what these ladies go through on a regular basis, only it's raising awareness here. And we appreciate what you've done to help them overseas and getting the message across here.
Thank you.